Hello everyone, welcome to Red Men TV. It is our fan interactive show, Wednesday the 12th of July. Loads of news stories today, the biggest being the Jordan Henderson news that not only is Chris Bascombe reporting, but Paul Joyce is reporting as well. We've got Per Schuurs news, we've got Levi Colwill news, Romeo Lavia news, Kefren Turam news, lactate test news, because why the hell not? And we've got pre-season plan stuff, Europa League, potential opponents. There is tons in this show for you today, so stick with us for the next half an hour or so as we go through each and every story. If you've left a comment in the YouTube already, I have just dialed in with our software. Put that comment in again, talk to me about any of the news stories, and we will discuss these things in depth and detail for you today. So the first news story is that Liverpool are considering and are set to bid for Chelsea's Levi Colwill. So Liverpool set to rival Brighton in the battle to sign Chelsea defender Levi Colwill. TalkSport understands Chelsea want to keep Colwill, but he is stalling apparently over a potential new deal. Brighton have had a £30 million bid rejected, and Liverpool are monitoring the situation. Do lots of monitoring here at Liverpool Football Club, don't we? Colwill apparently wanted by Klopp. He was on an Instagram Live with one of his under 21s teammate, I think, from Chelsea the other day, and he actually asked him about it, and he was like, man, keep the football talk out of it, which was quite interesting, because he asked him about potentially moving to Liverpool. The understanding, I suppose, from everybody is that he's quite open to it, and he wants first team football. Would Liverpool be a place where he can get that first team football? Will he get those assurances of first team football? If he gets those assurances, then he might end up being a Liverpool player, basing it obviously on Liverpool and Chelsea being able to agree a fee. And I'm sure there'll be a Liverpool tax from Chelsea as well, not just the English tax, the Liverpool tax as well. So yeah, really interesting, I suppose. I mean, lots to talk about Andrew Robertson, his position, the sides, and I think me and Josh Williams on one of the deep dives, very early doors of the 3-box-3 formation, spoke about how we didn't feel that Andy Robertson was a great fit for that. Now, he did well. Towards the back end of the season. Obviously, he needs to, I think, curb his natural enthusiasm to get forwards at times, because that can sometimes leave the likes of Ibu Konate and Virgil van Dijk more exposed because they're two people covering three people's workload. That might be something that if we don't sign a Levi Colwill, we'll see less of Robertson moving forwards throughout the course of the season, and more of a sitting role. Or maybe it's more about, well, actually, if Robertson goes, who drops in? To make us a little bit more stable at the back. But I think Levi Colwill, in terms of his fit as a footballer, seems to fit the system probably more so than the likes of Andy Robertson. Andy Robertson, a much more experienced player, of course, but getting on in years now. And will a change of formation really be that? If Liverpool playing a left back right next season, there ain't no one in the world that I'd rather have more than Andy Robertson for what he's done for the football club, what he can do for how he applies himself day in, day out. But if Liverpool are playing him as a centre half, then the potential there is improvement. Liverpool can get better. Is Levi Colwill better right now than Andrew Robertson? I doubt it. Is the potential for Liverpool's formation better with a Levi Colwill in there than Andrew Robertson? Potentially, yes. And I think that's why Liverpool are looking at all of these things. Got a super chat in from Ajala Broy. If we don't get a new centre-back, we'll be in the same position as last season. This time, the defence is light instead of the midfield. Come on, FSG. Splash the cash. Thank you so much for the super chat. Really appreciate it. We'll talk about Henderson and stuff a little bit later on. Oh, mate. Alex, hello. Chris, loving the daily content, mate. Hope you're well. All the best from Sydney. Mate, can I just say thanks for resubscribing to Redmen Plus as well. I meant to message you on Facebook when I saw your name pop up there. Love to Corrine, of course. Hope you guys are doing well. Hope to catch a pint over at Christmas. If you'd ever come back again, that would be fantastic. And I'm sure, hopefully, Corrine's okay with the pizza news and stuff like that, mate. If you haven't heard it, ask her to reach out to us or reach out to me again, and I hope she's all right, because I know she got on with Peter. Oh yeah, great to speak to you, mate. Thanks very much for joining in, and I'm glad you're enjoying the content as well. So yeah, cool. That was a bit of a random one. I wasn't expecting that. That's maybe day that, mate. Thank you, Alex. So Jamie and Jarowski. Yes, guy. Chris is the best. You gotta love it. You gotta love these types of content, haven't you? These types of messages. They're great. SM. Hi, Chris. How much do you think we can raise from sales this window? Okay, let's go conservative. 57 million for Thiago. No, I'm kidding. Potentially 25 for Thiago, 10 for Matip, 10 for Nat. That's probably about it. 40 odd, maybe, something like that. I'm not 100% sure. Aaron McDonald, thank you for the super chat. We will get on to news stories, of course. Do you think we would spend 50 million on Lavia and probably about the same on Colwill? Honestly, Aaron, no, I don't. I'm a little concerned about the price tag for Lavia and for Colwill. It's a bit of a mad one, especially the Lavia one, because Southampton obviously gone down. They need more money and all that type of stuff. Now, I found out this week that there is VAT included on transfers in terms of Premier League to Premier League or English sides. So I don't know what transfer fees are reported, whether they're INCFAT or expat or anything, right? But then if let's say it's INCFAT, 50 million quid. Right, what they're actually taking home from that is 41.666 reoccurring millions, and then they lose 20% as well to Manchester City. You're probably close on 34 million for Lavia that they're actually getting in their arse pocket, which might kind of make sense about the 50 million being what Southampton want if it is an INCFAT thing. So I'm not 100% sure. I had that confirmed, by the way, the VAT stuff, by Kieran Maguire, the finance expert. Now, if Liverpool buy from a club in Europe, with them not being in Europe, there wouldn't be VAT on those transfer fees, which is an interesting one as well. And the mad thing is about this, right? I'm 40 years old and I've never heard about VAT on transfer fees before. What's that about? Has anybody else actually heard this? Let me know in the comments section. Of course, Craig Tebbs, thank you so much, my friend. Listening from the sunbed in Mallorca. Colwill is about future-proofing now. If we spend now and give Klopp time with him, he's a potential star, says Craig from his sunbed in Mallorca. And I agree with you, Craig, from my seat in Liverpool, speak. So there we go. I completely agree with you. And thank you so much for the super chat. Thank you for dialing in on your holiday as well. Like there's no breaks for Liverpool fans, is there? When you're on holiday, you're listening or you're watching Redmen TV content from the sunbed. Yes, love that. SMJ says, I would happily sell Henderson, Matip to get fresh blood in this team. We have loads of leaders in the club, so if we want to bring in the talent, then selling is what we need. We will talk about Jordan Henderson later on in the show, of course. I like this comment here, though. Having Rob in the squad always leaves us with the option of switching to a back four. If we get rid of our fullbacks, then we're stuck with a back three, says the Maharani's closet. Thank you very much, mate. I agree with you there. And actually, you know, when we were talking, I was asked about player sales, then I completely forgot about Kostas Tsimikas, because can you go into this season with two left backs when you don't play a out and out left back, as it were, or would one of them move? So you could potentially get 15 to 20 million quid for somebody like a Kostas Tsimikas as well, which would put us on 60 million quid, which would mean only a further outlay of circa 40 million quid if you get the other two lads, Colwill and Lavia, for 50 million quid. There's some fast maths in there and fast talking. Do you know why I talk fast? Because I think fast, and that's just the way that it is. So we're going to move on to the next story then. Perr Schuurs, another centre-half that Liverpool have been linked with for a long time now, probably going back about 18 months or so. And I think the Perr Schuurs one's interesting because he obviously moved to Torino last summer, I think it was, for around about 10 million quid from Ajax. Now, apparently, according to Tuttosport via another website, Perr Schuurs, according to Tuttosport, and you can see this here on your screen right now, says the transfer from Schuurs will be a matter of the time. He has said farewell to his teammates. So, yeah, he would have said goodbye to his teammates and the employees of the club. So this is interesting. This is obviously Tuttosport are a well-renowned Italian publication. Been around a long time, long enough for me to have heard of them in the 90s when there was no internet. And that's probably because of the show on Channel 4, to be fair. But anyway, I digress. I apologise. Schuurs has apparently said goodbye to everybody. Now, what's interesting here is a step to the Premier League seems a matter of time. West Ham, Crystal Palace and Liverpool have been interested in Schuurs in recent months. As a result, Torino had those clubs bid against each other, and according to Tuttosport, an incoming transfer fee of no less than €40 million awaits. According to the newspaper, Liverpool, and I quote, has the best papers to tie the old, and I can't quote this, he had. I'm assuming that's an Ajax player. Or, yeah. Sorry. Really not good at the old languages. What that's saying is Liverpool are in prime position. A little bit further down, it says, ready for his dream transfer a year after Torino transferred about €10 million strikes. This is interesting because this goes back to the West Ham and Crystal Palace thing. Do you think that anybody at any point in time over the last 30 years has dreamed of the move to West Ham United or Crystal Palace? Because I don't. And that makes me think that you would dream of a move to Liverpool Football Club. I don't know whether this is true. I don't know whether Liverpool are in the market for Perr Schuurs at the moment. I don't know whether this is some kind of holding pattern tactic to go with Levi Colwill transfer and all that type of stuff. My guess is Liverpool would prefer Levi Colwill. He's obviously got Premier League experience. He's obviously an English player. That's going for him as well. You're actually weakening a potential rival in Chelsea. So there's a lot of things going for it in that regard, but he's a little bit too expensive. Yeah, so I don't know whether Liverpool are going to move for Perr Schuurs, but you know what? They might. You never know. Let's have a little look then. Oh, it's just all Henderson. You just want to talk about Jordan Henderson, and I totally understand that. Oh, wow. Okay. Colwill is the new John Terry. Just pay them money. Just seen your message as well, Alex, saying calf holder. Yeah, that's actually who told me. Actually, Joe might have as well. But yeah, I hope she's all right anyway, and I hope everybody's good over there. I will continue. There's just a lot of talk about Jordan Henderson. We're nearly there. We've got a few more stories to go to. I'll whiz through them as fast as I can because you just want to talk about Jordan Henderson, don't you? I'm going to skip that news story because that was just more Perr Schuurs chat, and nobody needs more Perr Schuurs chat in their life right now. How do I need? Oh God, I've got that comment on the screen. We'll have to get rid of that comment. There we go. Fabrizio Romano's been talking about internal discussions at Liverpool Football Club over fantastic talent. Now, that talent, of course, is Romeo Lavia, which I think everybody could have guessed. In his caught offside column, Romano has made it clear the Reds are still holding internal discussions over a move for Lavia, who he describes as someone who would be a fantastic signing for Jurgen Klopp's side. Romano is unsure if Liverpool are looking at alternatives to Lavia at the moment, but he did name Manuel Locatelli as a player that he thinks would be a good fit. So this is the quote. These are the quotes. Sorry. Romeo Lavia, at the moment, this is not something imminent. Liverpool are discussing internally about Lavia. No official bid has been submitted yet, and also no decision has been made on the price. So Lavia remains on the Reds list, and honestly, I think Lavia would be a fantastic signing. He's a top talent. It's not easy to find that kind of player in the market, so I don't know if they have alternatives at this stage. And this, I suppose, is in the same sort of holding pattern as Levi Colwill, in that Liverpool probably think it's too expensive. Southampton want to recoup as much money as possible, obviously, for one of their best players, nay, their best player. Liverpool might just be looking at what's going on in the market right now. I mean, will the Jordan Henderson stuff have something to do with a potential Romeo Lavia deal? I suppose it could do. Obviously, Jordan's got a couple of years left on his contract. He's 33 years old. We'll discuss all this a little bit later on, of course. But if you were to get 20 to 30 to 40 million quid for the captain, that money would essentially go straight on Romeo Lavia. Now, there's all kinds of different things that we're going to talk about soon, but I'm going to move on to the next transfer story. Perr Schuurs' Nice future. Apparently, Bayern Munich have pulled out. Liverpool look like they've pulled out of a move for Perr Schuurs, and Perr Schuurs is potentially going to stay at Nice for another year, according to L'Equipe. So there we go on that one. There is a new lactate test champion. And that is Mo Salah. He has been crowned the lactate test champion. If you've not seen the video of Klopp crowning him, giving him the James Milner Awards, after 8 years of this test being won by James Milner at Liverpool Football Club, we have a new champion. His name's Mo Salah, and that reason that he is the champion is because James Milner clearly isn't there. Now, Dominic Solob's, bloody hell. You know what I mean? I'm not going to try and say it. I'm going to say it wrong again. Szoboszlai has done really well. He apparently completed the lactate test, but Mo was the actual champion. Dominic, obviously, really, really, really impressed all of his Liverpool colleagues in his first day of training. Excuse me. Trent was there, Diaz was there, Cody Gakpo, Diogo Jota, Kanate, Virgil van Dijk, McAllister, Szoboszlai, and all those types of players. But yeah, Szoboszlai put down a marker. Mo Salah wins it. Pre-season is well and truly up and running. Joe Gomez did very, very well as well, and Darwin Núñez did well in that one. I'm going to move on because I am trying to rush through this because I know you all want to talk about Jordan Henderson. So we're going to go to This Is Anfield, and if you're not on to This Is Anfield, you should be on to This Is Anfield, because This Is Anfield is an absolutely brilliant site to get Liverpool news from. They have been doing this longer than any of the independents. I don't know exactly, but I think it was like 2001 maybe This Is Anfield were there. As an independent site, and yeah, they're just brilliant, and you should definitely support them. So they're talking about the Liverpool's potential Europa League opponents. So who we can't face: Brighton, West Ham, Roma, Villarreal, Bayer Leverkusen, Atalanta. Who we can face: Betis, Freiburg, Sporting CP, Toulouse, and Rennes. And then other likely ones, depending on playoff results and all that type of stuff: Slavia Prague, Olympiacos, Ajax, Lask, Aberdeen, Union Saint-Gilloise, FC Lugano, Jura Luhansk, and FK Kukariki. 4 teams that I've never said before or even heard of. So there you go. Big names in there, though, isn't there? Olympiacos, Ajax being 2 of them. Obviously, we know all about Aberdeen because of what Sir Alex Ferguson did with them back in the 80s before he moved to Manchester United. Maybe not a big side anymore, but a big side nonetheless. Craig Tebbs, which shorts have you got on today, Chris? Get the thighs out. I've got my Jordans on, mate. My basketball shorts today. There's thighs popping everywhere, my friend. Thighs popping everywhere. Let's have a look at some of these comments then. I think it's time, I think it's time for the conversation that you want more than any other. So let me know your thoughts first and foremost, before I get into the news articles from Chris Bascom and from Paul Joyce, what exactly you think about Jordan Henderson potentially moving on from Liverpool. And I'll go through the best ones, of course, or just the ones that I see, not necessarily the best. There is a lot of comments coming in and you miss loads. So, here we go. Jordan Henderson, considering leaving Liverpool for Saudi Arabia. Chris Bascom, one of the best writers around in terms of Liverpool, has been for so long, going back to the 90s, along with Paul Joyce, are 2 fellas that I massively respect in the space and believe the words of. And these guys are both talking about it within half an hour of each other, says that something is going on here and something smells fishy. So, Jordan Henderson is wrestling with the dilemma of whether to quit Liverpool and join the Premier League exodus to Saudi Arabia, with a decision anticipated shortly. He looks absolutely bloody ripped in training, by the way, doesn't he? So a 33-year-old is weighing up the immediate benefits of a lucrative deal in the Saudi League. I'm going to get to a paragraph and read this out verbatim for you. Clearly, the decision will be Henderson's as to whether to give the Saudis the green light to make an approach to Liverpool. Should a bid materialise, it will be clear Henderson has decided to make the move. Beyond that, Klopp's response to any such offer would be fascinating. So I think Jordan's probably going to want some assurances around playing time. He'll have seen McAllister come in. He'll have seen Szoboszlai come in. He'll have seen the performances of the likes of Kurt Jones and Harvey Elliott, and at the latter end of last season, the start of last season, probably more so in Harvey Elliott's case. And he'll have seen, Kurt Jones in the Euro 21s and how good he was. And he'll be looking at that thinking, where am I getting into this side? Do I want to be that James Milner sort of position and captain of the football club that doesn't play every single week, or do I want to go and play football each week? So he'll be looking for probably some assurances with regards to his playing time, and I understand that. But that paragraph there says, the decision will be Henderson's as to whether to give the Saudis the green light to make an approach to Liverpool. What that then suggests is that if there is a bid incoming from El Atifaki, then Jordan Henderson will have already stated, I'm open to the idea of moving to you guys. So if no bid comes in, then he's already decided essentially that he won't be going over there. I'd be dumbfounded, I think is probably the right word, if Jordan was to go to Saudi Arabia, partly because of the morals of the man, partly because of what he's tried to do for equality in sport over the last couple of years. But from a footballing perspective, I think he's still a big part of Gareth Southgate's England squad. With the Euros coming up, this is potentially his last major tournament where he could possibly win something. And England are, right up there in terms of, names on paper, but also favourites for the competition. And he could be a big part in bringing a European trophy home to England. And I think that's something that I think Jordan would fancy. I don't know how playing in Saudi Arabia really helps keep him in Gareth Southgate's mind, to be honest with you. Whereas playing at Liverpool Football Club, maybe not week in, week out, but still a major part. There's still going to be a lot of minutes there, circa 2,000, 3,000 minutes for Jordan over the course of the season. I'd be shocked if he did go to Saudi Arabia, to be honest with you. I've got a little super chat in there. Do you think the issue with Mbappe could open the door for Liverpool? No. Honestly, thank you for the super chat. Absolutely not. Seems like a bit of a prat right now, doesn't he? Mike says, Hendo is going nowhere. Marty says, why do you want to know what I think? Because I think it's interesting. I mean, you want to know what I think, I'm assuming, because you're here. And don't you think that's interesting? It probably isn't. It's probably like, oh my God, I'm glad I'm not him. Look at that. He can't even keep up with his own brain. Then we've got Dom, who says, Thiago goes before Hendo, surely. I'm with you on this one, Dom. And yeah, I think that Thiago's got more of an impact on the side when he plays than Jordan Henderson does. So what I'm trying to say here, I suppose, is that I think Jordan Henderson is not at the calibre of player that Thiago is right now. And Thiago's a better player. And yet I still find myself thinking, if it was one or t'other, then I'd be getting rid of Thiago. I'd like to keep them both, and I'd like to sign players as well, but I'm just not sure that that's going to happen with Liverpool. Our club captain deserves a proper send-off like Gerrard had. I mean, Kieran, thank you. Did he have a proper send-off? We got absolutely tonked, didn't we, in Gerrard's last game? Is that the type of proper send-off you mean? I don't know. Prax says, personally, I wouldn't want to see Hendo go. We already lost a big voice in the squad in Milner, so I wouldn't want to lose him either. But I guess it depends on how much money and what we could get offered. That might be it, mightn't it? And Mike also said you forgot Bajcetic. I did. You're right. He is such a leader in this squad. I mean, even if we just take it from the captain side of things, and we've all talked for ages about what we believe that Jordan brings to Liverpool Football Club, and I think we all know what Liverpool is, and this Liverpool is this Liverpool because of Jordan Henderson. But even if we just take it, right, well, you're just relieving your captains going. Well, Virgil van Dijk's the vice captain now. We don't know if he's any good at it. We assume he is. He's captained us on occasion. Would he step up to be the captain? Who would be the vice captain? Would it be Andrew Robertson, who's in that leadership group? Would it be potentially a role for Trent Alexander-Arnold, who's having more and more impact on the side with each passing game? Could Liverpool be the same Liverpool without Jordan Henderson? Could they be the same Liverpool with Virgil van Dijk as the captain at the football club? And I think the answer is no. I think he sets the standard each and every day, just like James Milner did. And I think it'd be a massive miss in terms of off-the-field stuff. I do think that he isn't a first-team player anymore, and I think that's okay. But that might not be okay for Jordan Henderson, which might be why he is actually considering this as well. I'm going to get back into some of the comments and Paul Joyce's article as well, thinking about it. Who Joyce says, Henderson has not been the subject of a formal bid as yet, and is unlikely one will be made unless he indicates he was willing to leave Anfield after 12 years, just reiterating essentially the same thing that Chris Bascombe did. Obviously, he actually says somewhere today as well that Liverpool are still keeping their tabs on Romeo Lavia, which is interesting because it's Joyce. I'm going to check something. Aaron, everyone keeps mentioning about Chris Wheeler. Can you maybe get me a link for something on this? Thanks, mate. Sticky Rice says, I know we're going on a history for Liverpool, but our captain should be on the field. Yeah, I can understand that. I don't necessarily agree with that completely. In a best case scenario, your captain's on the field, but if he's the best captain at the football club, or he's on the field or not, then sounds. You know what I mean? It's more than just on the pitch. We've got loads of leaders and loads of captains, haven't we, at the football club, to be fair. Jordan Henderson set to decide his future in the next 48 hours after, with Al Atifaki offering him a 50% pay rise. This is the Chris Wheeler one, apparently. Thank you, Lisa. In the agenda. Right, okay, let's have a little look at this one. Thanks, Aaron. Thank you for putting that into the comments as well. Okay, let's have a little look at this together live and in glorious HD. Jordan Henderson will make a decision over a move to Saudi Arabia in the next 48 hours after having doubts over his Liverpool future, with Steven Gerrard's Al Etifaki willing to give the 140,000 week star a 50% pay rise. We go up to, what are we saying there, £210,000 a week, maybe? Wowzer, that's a lot of money. So the next 48 hours is going to be crucial, according to the Mail and Chris Wheeler, for Liverpool and his future. And will this have a knock-on effect of Liverpool moving? Like, if Liverpool truly believe that Romeo Lavia is the player that they want, then they might need money. And this might be the easiest way of getting that money in. And do Liverpool believe they've got enough leaders at the football club to be able to deal with that? I don't like it because he's the captain. But, Andy Robertson's captain his country. Virgil van Dijk's been a captain, of course. Fabinho, I don't think, has been a captain. We know Szoboszlai captains his country. Mo Salah obviously has been a captain. I mean, there are loads of captains all around this side. And maybe if it's 30, 40, 50 million quid, Liverpool going, you know what we've not done? We've not sold players well enough. Our model is sell to buy. Maybe we need to start selling to buy. That might be the model that Liverpool have chosen to follow for the first time in a few years. And maybe us not being ruthless enough and not getting rid of players when they're cresting their peak is what has left Liverpool in a little bit of a struggle last season. Maybe they think, you know what, we need a change of tactic. We believe we've got enough good players at the football club to minimise the loss of probably a non-first team player for good money. And we believe in Colwill and we believe in Lavia. And maybe we need to sell Jordan Henderson. Maybe this is Liverpool being smart and moving forwards. I'd be gutted. I was gutted when Wijnaldum left, and I've said this over the course of the last few years, because I realised when Wijnaldum left that was the first one of my favourite team leaving. Mane going hurt, obviously Jordan Henderson going feels like, wow, that's just crazy. I mean, we literally made him a mural at Anfield because of what he did at the football club. But if Liverpool decide that they're going to be ruthless and they think that Lavia and Cole will improve them more than Jordan Henderson leaving, then I can understand that. I can totally understand that. I absolutely love Henderson's Brandon Pereira. But if we're too scared to lose the leadership and don't have enough leadership, and we have a lot more to worry about. That's a great point. Eric, retirement home FC. Maybe so. But, you retired from winning trophies a while ago, didn't you, Lid? I was absolutely gutted when Gini left and we didn't replace him, said Steve Ryder. I was as well. It would be a strange decision for Hendo to train like a madman during the off-season only to join the Saudi League. Maybe he was training because he knew Liverpool were going to be investing in the midfield, and when he saw the calibre of players Liverpool brought in, he's gone, oh, fucking hell. These guys are bloody good. Maybe we need to be moving on. Maybe take some of that fat cash from Saudi Arabia. Join Steven Gerrard. Have a little bit of sunshine. Lovely. Who knows? They need to sign an experienced midfielder, not just sign youngsters, says Banana. I agree with that. We've signed two experienced-ish midfielders in Szoboszlai, of course, and McAllister. We've got youngsters in Baccetic and Harvey Elliott and Kurt Jones. Tyler Morton even falls into that category, but Lavia might be on a different level, or at least they think he might be on a different level. I'm not really high on Romeo Lavia, and I think I've spoken about this a few times over the last few weeks and stuff. Certainly if you saw mine and Josh's deep dive on Redmen Plus, you'll have known that. But if Liverpool Liverpool aren't buying the player that he is. Liverpool are buying the potential, and Liverpool obviously see something, like they saw something in Mo Salah, like they saw something in Sadio Mane, like they saw something in Roberto Firmino and all of those players that turned out to be so much more than the transfer fees that we paid for them. I'm a little short-sighted, and I always have to look at the past because I can't predict the future. So yeah, there we go. Could Barella come in? Says Brandon again. Oh no, that's not it. Sorry. Could Barella come in? Says Uzar. If Hendo is sold experience-wise, no. He's a great player, obviously, but no, not sure. I think the time's moved on for him moving to England, to be honest with you. And according to Bowser Jr., he doesn't want to leave Inter. And Snarf says, I'd rather lose Thiago than Hendo. At least he's going to be fit. He's very much fit at the moment. He's very, very much fit at the moment. So there you go. That has been the news on today, Wednesday, the 12th of July. And the big news is this. Jordan Henderson is considering his Liverpool future, and we might know within 48 hours whether the captain is going to be joining Steven Gerrard's Al Ettifaqi in Saudi Arabia. If you haven't heard already, by the way, I'm not done yet. If you haven't heard already, we've got a brand new book. Bobby Firmino, Best in the World. You can get the author-signed edition right here by scanning this QR code. It's a pre-order right now. Books will be shipping probably week commencing 23rd of July. It's a limited run number of books. It's a prestige format book. It is absolutely top drawer quality. A4 size, circa 200 pages, something like that. With all kinds of brilliant artwork around Bobby Firmino, statistics, but ultimately telling the story of the boy from Brazil, before Liverpool, at Liverpool, and we're not going to write a story about the future of him because he's left Liverpool. But he was one of Liverpool's greatest players, so please get involved. It would be massively, massively appreciated, mainly because we need to sell them because we spent a lot of money on producing them. And on that bombshell, I'm out.
So pre-season is just around the corner for the mighty Reds, but if you want to spend your days, weeks and hours celebrating a Liverpool legend, then check out Bobby Firmino, Best in the World, our 3-part documentary series, episodes 2 and 3 exclusively streaming on redmenplus.com right now with full interviews from so many of our amazing contributors, including the Liverpool skipper Jordan Henderson, the greatest goal scorer the club's ever seen, Ian Rush, and a hell of a lot more. Right now, go to redmenplus.com. All episodes of Bobby Firmino, Best in the World, streaming today.